Hey guys, this is Coach Chris. Welcome to my channel where we break down international level fights for strategies and tactics that you can use in your own fights. However, due to coronavirus, we are doing more tutorial based stuff, so this is the clinch tutorial part 2, the offense. So the first way to score the clinch is on forward pressure. One of the ways to do this, if you're stronger than your opponent, let's say Kobe's in clinch with me, all I need to do is just shove Kobe back and kick when the space is created. And so I can do that either to the body, boom, or I can do the same thing to the face and go on. Now, if that only works though if you're stronger than your opponent. If you're not quite as strong, that's gonna happen to you sometimes. You can still use this idea by, let's say, if I were to blitz into Coach Kobe, the main thing is before I get to this position, I need my arms almost locked. So that way when I'm landing, I'm hitting his whole upper body with my weight, which helps maintain the space for the kick to happen. So you can either do that by blitzing fast here, boom, or I can even kick short. And if you decide to close, boom, landing with my arms open, and same idea. The idea is you want to be using your forward momentum to create the distance, or forward pushing power to create the distance, to create the kicking space. Now, really big users of the style are actually Lee Dae-hoon, and you can watch him do any of his clinch work. You can see him setting up in the clinch, almost kind of holding people there while he sets up his headshot. Or you can watch Namjoon, also from Korea, the welterweight -80, and he does a lot of pushing in this game, and he really doesn't care who he's fighting. It's gonna be a push fight no matter what. So both of those players are good for you to look up and watch if you like that style of fighting. Now, the big thing with using this kind of offensive style though is you need to figure out where the space is. So whatever lies in back. So if I'm pushing Coach Kobe and he's in a close stance, kicking to this side is kind of viable, but it's sometimes more, if you go and switch legs, if I switch, I can kick on this side, that's kind of viable. It's easy for him to block those. If he just drops his arm, same deal. A way to generate more power though is there's a lot of space here. If I switch, there's a lot more space, so I can generate a lot more power in that. Okay, so if you're on the offensive style, you want to kind of use that open stance to your advantage. So whatever side you land on, whether it's closed, whether it's open, you want to make sure it's open stance before you fire a kick to give yourself a little bit more distance to generate more power. So using this style, there's a couple of different weapons. One of the weapons is if I land here, it's really easy, just like I showed. You want to switch the body. Another one is if you're here, same thing, switch. You can go out to the head. Next one after that, let's say you don't want to switch, obviously, another way you can do that is you can knee high this way and then land, boom. And so what hopefully this does is as you bring your knee high, he's expecting the kick on this side, and then you kick for the clinch. If I'm here and I want to fake Coach Kobe out a little bit, if I bring my leg up and sideways, it's a way to score a point, but it's not very strong. So what a lot of people start to do is they'll stay on whichever side, they'll step across the X this way. So if this is the center line, they'll step across the X, boom, and then that allows them to generate and wrap a little bit more power around the backside. So you can either do that step here, so if I'm pushing body, or you can go head. And so all you're doing is step across the middle line. Another variation is just a double switch. So if I'm here, this is open stance, Kobe's already expecting the side. I could switch to try and juke him out a little bit, kind of overwhelm him a little bit. If I'm here, I'm pushing, it becomes a lot harder for him to figure out which leg is in back, and hopefully allowing me an easier time to score. So you can use that either to the body or to the head. Another one you can do, another weapon, is if I'm here, instead of just switching this way, I could switch to the side and then kick that direction. So you can use that to the body or the head. And so the footwork is just here, and you're gonna box step to the side while in clinch. And that does a couple of things. So here, it positions me toward the open side, but if he is kicking, I'm gonna be switching into his kick, hopefully cutting it off. And then my turn. The next one's a little bit more of a meta kick, something that's come up in the more recent years. And this one wraps around the back of the arm guard. So normally when people do the body kick, it's very straight. So go and drop your arm, and that blocks it. But what a lot of people have been doing is they keep their foot at a sharp angle like this. And so Kobe blocks and a kick, it shoots just behind the arm guard. And that's not, right now Kobe's exaggerating it, but most people will block the body, even with if you block with the bent arm. It's meant to wrap around and hit near the back of the hook. And if you watch Lee Dae-hoon in his most recent fights, you can see him using this weapon as well. So to counter that, what a lot of people started doing is they started blocking further back, like that. And so to counter that, what you'd want to do is from the push, you want to jump, emphasize, and try and hit the front. So it'd be almost like a round kick like that. That one takes obviously a lot more practice because you have to rotate a lot more. But that's another viable option should your opponent start to adapt to your previous kick. For those of you who are capable of doing this, one of the ways you could kick from close stance is using a twist kick, and that looks like this. So if you're pushing here,
boom, just like that. So that saves you the trouble of having to switch stances and kind of confuses your opponent at the same time. Now the last one I wrote down was if you have a lot of momentum and you're acrobatic enough, what you could do is the jumping push kick through the middle. So he's pushing, and imagine if he's pushing me really hard at the same time and doing it. It's really hard for me to defend that. So that's the first kind. Those last few years of Taekwondo, pushing has been allowed, and so the pushing and going offensive meta has been tried and tested, which is why there's so many weapons in this arsenal, because a lot of stuff, there's been a lot of years where people have been testing this out already, so a lot of weapons have been invented. Try some of those at home, and you can kind of see what works for you and what doesn't. But now we're going to the second way to score points in the clinch, and that's on the fade. The fade is actually the new, most current, almost meta way of fighting in the clinch game. Universally, international players have been accepting that the push game is the best way to win, and so the better players have been adapting. You can see this with Lee Dae-hoon against Bradley Sinden in the Grand Prix when they rematched after World Championships. Or you can also see this McNish versus Husseini. Husseini does a great job kind of using the fade against McNish or anyone in GBR. Coincidentally, this style of game is actually why I lost SEA Games. When I scouted my opponent a few months before, it didn't seem like he had this kind of game in his arsenal. And then I felt like when we fought at SEA Games, this was his whole game plan, and something I just wasn't prepared for. So learn from my mistakes, kind of learn the style of game. And so the way to do this, or to really just practice this, is you want to get into distance. So Kobe can either cut or slide or whatever. As soon as you feel a person pushing him back, boom, that's when you want to jump backwards. So you want to get used to the idea of jumping in and then jumping out and kicking. And the reason you're doing that, it may look silly while you're doing it by yourself, but you're expecting the other person to push you. So if I'm trying to get Kobe into a clinch situation because I want to push him and I'm stronger than clinch and I'm expecting him to try and battle me there and lose stamina, what I'll do after he comes in is I'll try and push him. But little do I know he's actually planning for that and fading out into adjusting. So that's how you use the fade. The last method of scoring in the clinch is based off Jedi mind tricks, which was taught to me by Jason Alvarez a long time ago, and I'm going to show you how that works. All right, so I haven't told Coach Kobe what I'm going to do or anything like that. I just want him to react naturally as a fighter, and I want you guys to observe what you think I'm doing here, okay? So I'm on guard, say to Kobe, hey. Now what most people will notice is when I motion at Kobe, Kobe also gets on guard. And that's generally one of the things people pick up. But what a lot of people don't notice is when I relax, Coach Kobe relaxes. And so the few times I was able to do that, I was able to get Coach Kobe to relax by relaxing myself. So the way to use that in the clinch is generally when people are trying to score points, they're very active about moving fast or trying to do something like that. So if I'm active in the clinch, it looks like this. Like something like that. Or even if I'm going backwards trying to be even. It's very urgent, very volatile, very very almost blitzy, that situation. But to use this kind of Jedi mind trick in the clinch, this is what it's going to look like. So I'm going to be here. I'm going to present that I'm just trying to relax in the clinch, almost waiting for the ref to break, and then I'm going to use that slight relaxation to set up my advantage. So here, Kobe's pushing. And so from Kobe's point of view, what it looks like is, it just looks like I'm stepping back normally, and then on one of the step backs, I step back further to create the space, and then I can fire my leg off. So one more time, it looks like this. So here, pushing. So that's something you can use either to the body or to the face. And all you have to do, like I said, is you're here, act relaxed upper body wise. So you don't want to be frantically looking around. Here, try and maintain distance. And then on one of these step back wide, and then boom, you can score that way. So another variation of that, instead of stepping wide back, is you can wrap your leg behind you to kind of do one of those wrap kicks. So it's gonna look like this. If I'm pushing, step this way. So this part has to be fast though. So as you're stepping, 1, 2, and by the time usually he can react to that, since you're wrapped behind, creating a lot of space this way, it's hard for him to step in quickly or adjust because he's still in that relaxed mode that hopefully you put him in right before this. Now, so another way you can use this on the offensive side, so that's for the fade. For the offensive side, what you can do is if I'm pushing Coach Kobe, boom, I don't have to act super relaxed, but what I could do is I can look up, look down, look up again, and then boom. Because generally when fighters are fighting, they're looking at where your eyes are looking. And so if I see Kobe looking at me this way, I can generally, most people will say, he's probably gonna kick to the head because that's where he's targeting. If he looks low, same idea, I'm gonna expect the kick to go to the body because that's where he's looking. So you wanna use that to your advantage. And what you do is, if I'm looking at Coach Kobe this way, I look up, I look down, and I can go to the head. Or if I decide looking up like this at Kobe, and then boom. And so you can juke your opponent out by where you're looking with your eyes. And it doesn't sound like a big deal, but it really, really throws people off, especially even at international level game. Now for the Jedi mind trick, the last part I showed you guys, that's stuff you can add on as more nuanced little iterations for yourself, but don't have your whole game plan around that, because those are small little tactics. And so once your opponent adapts to your tactics, you want to have a whole strategy on top of that, not just the small tactics, correct? So try and practice either the push, now the new meta is the fade, so you can practice the fade a little bit more if you want to. And pick one, like I said in the last video, pick one or two of these concepts and practice until you don't have to think about it anymore. And that's really the only time that it'll be battle ready and effective in sparring. Really quick, really big shout out to my editor. He's doing fantastic work and he's been with me every week and I really, really appreciate it. His link is down below, so please give him a like. And also thank you to my Patreon. Thank you, Michael, for subscribing. And for those of you who don't know, I do have a Patreon now, and when I get enough people on there, we're gonna start doing some live Q&A where I'm here in the studio and answering your questions live, and I can demonstrate for you, and you guys can ask more specific questions or ask me questions on what I'm doing specifically and things like that. But that's it for this week, guys. Everyone stay safe, please, and I'll see you guys next week.